Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Tuesday edition of the Computer America Show. We're going to be talking to MyDreams about computer games, designing your own computer games. I mean, it looks really interesting, and they're going to be joining us in the first hour. I actually have two representatives from MyDream, the co-founder and CTO and the creative director. Going to be talking about their website and how it impacts you as a consumer to play these games. And in the second hour, we're going to have computer and technology news that's brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So sit back.
1 minute until showtime.
Relax, enjoy the show. We'll be starting in less than a minute. Seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And it's Tuesday.
It's a good Tuesday.
Yeah, it is a good Tuesday. We got an interesting show planned for you tonight. For those of you who are into games, I don't know if technically this is a Gamer Tuesday. It certainly could be.
I am technically going to declare it a Gamer Tuesday.
Okay. Well, Ben is officially declaring it a Gamer Tuesday. We usually have one of those a month, but, you know, there's certainly room for more of them. And we're going to talk to a company called MyDream. And we have two representatives from MyDream. We're going to have the company's co-founder and CTO and also the creative director. They're going to be joining us on the program. And then in hour two, we'll have computer and technology news. That's brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So busy day, Ben, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We got some interesting news stories as well for our
yeah, most of them gaming related, so be on the lookout for that.
Okay, we'll be on the lookout for it. Well, let me just tell you, if you have a comment or a question for our guest tonight, give us a call at 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. Email is live, L-I-V-E, at ComputerAmerica.com. If you're radio shy, you don't want to go on the air, that's a great way to get your question in. You can also join us in our live interactive chat room. Just go to our homepage at ComputerAmerica.com, and right there you'll see it says interact with the show right in the middle of the homepage. There's a button that says chat and live video. Just click that. You'll get a split screen on the left-hand side. It's the IRC chat room. You'll put a username. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. Click the connect button, and your browser will move you into our chat room. We have a lot of interesting people in there, and we certainly welcome you to join us in the Computer America chat room. The other thing that you can do is you can also not only listen to the Computer America show, but you can also watch us now. We have our live Computer America video stream that shares the same page as the chat room. So head on over to that, and just the video will start automatically, and then you can watch the show. Of course, if if you're not listening to us at live, which is 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, you'll see just see a countdown there. But you can go to our live YouTube page. We have our archives page where you can see and listen to all of our shows. They're all available at computeramerica.com. Everything you need to know about our program is available at computeramerica.com. Okay, well then that's let's get to our interview this hour. The company is called MyDream, and it's a creator community game, that allows you to create vast and exciting worlds in a wide variety of environments that you can fill with adventures. This is very cool. Now, MyDream lets you shape the terrain of the world, literally. I mean, blast into the earth itself to mold it to your liking, or add some terrain into the world to vary up your landscape. Place items right into the world wherever you like. There are lots of options, a ton to choose from. So, you just let your imagination go crazy. You can build structures and complement them with some fun interactive items. You can make quests, create geocaches, hide treasures, create an interactive story, and send visitors to your world on an experience they won't soon forget. Making fun adventures in your world is as easy as having an idea and dropping items into them. Okay. Now, MyDream gives you the tools to let your creativity do the rest. Here to explain further are Matt Laverty and Mark Davis. Mark is the co-founder and CTO, and Matt is the creative director of MyDream. Gentlemen, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
Oh, doing good tonight. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, our pleasure, really. So let me start with Matt, and I kind of introduced it a little bit, but I think that really, in your own words, why don't you tell our listeners what is MyDream?
So yeah, like you said, we're a creator community game, and basically what that means is you can create your own world, and basically you have that world to do whatever you want with it. So you can go in and use the items that we've got to build pretty much anything from a castle, to a maze, to any type of fortress, different puzzles, things like that. And creating an adventure is really as simple as just taking our blocks that basically have the prefabbed information on them that basically start a quest and end a quest. So you drop one of these down at the start of like say you build a castle, and you've got like a treasure or something at the end of that castle, and you put traps down and everything. And so then you've got it all set up, and then you can drop down the starting point and the ending point, and then basically, tell your friends, all right, go try and complete this quest.
Now, you're making it sound very. Is it that simple, or is it? It sounds a little bit like Minecraft. A little bit where you go and you're designing these. I mean, is it similar?
Right.
To...
Yeah, it's got. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, if I can jump in for a second, yeah, it is similar to Minecraft in a lot of ways. Certainly, there are multiple ways to go about playing this game. If you're really just into the creative thing, you can kind of hop into a world and walk around, kind of explore, smell the roses, if you will. We need to put roses in to make that actually possible. But you can basically everything in this game that you see, whether it's mountains, caves, ravines, sand dunes, you name it, forests, everything can be edited. So it looks like it kind of looks like you shouldn't be able to edit everything, but you really can. You can tunnel through absolutely anything. But the terrain actually looks smooth and organic, kind of as you'd expect in a game today. So you're really open to explore, to dig through anything, to sculpt anything that you'd like. You can sit down, harvest resources, and then build all kinds of crazy structures, and just really have at it. And we found that there's actually a number of people that actually really just enjoy that pure creative mode. But if you want to go beyond that, the other thing that we have for you right now is the questing system. And so you can say, hey, I've created all this stuff. I'd really like to put somebody in here. And then you can let them go to town and actually add some quests. And then other folks can come in and kind of give that a go.
So I guess, anyone who's played a game recently, I mean, just from seeing some of the alpha screenshots you had online and hearing that explanation, I mean, how much of your inspiration came from Minecraft? Because I mean it seems to be pretty close. I mean the questing system. I'm sure some of the other features you've added in are obviously not found in Minecraft. But I mean, was there any kind of inspiration taken from that? Just the creative.
Yeah, absolutely. I was playing Minecraft when I decided to create my own voxel engine, plain and simple.
Yeah, I mean,
When you looked at Minecraft, you thought to yourself, we can do this better. I mean, what was the? I mean, what?
Yeah, I really got into Minecraft. I played Minecraft for a few months. Really enjoyed it. Really fun game, clearly. And I just thought, this looks really fun. It's the type of project I'd like to explore. And so I decided just to have a go at it, and started in making my own Minecraft-like system, and then thought, hey, you know what? It would probably be very interesting if we were able to play something that is kind of organic and not blocky. Not that there's anything wrong with blocks. Blocks are great. They're very easy to work with. But just thought it'd be fun to kind of explore a little bit of a different system.
So now, what makes MyDream different from Minecraft is that you're not using blocks. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very smooth terrain. The terrain can take on just about any shape that you'd like, and it's kind of epic, really.
and it's not the only difference. I mean, the organic nature of it is a big visual difference, and the fact that the system that Mark has built, you can basically explore forever in a sense. I mean, I don't know that any one of us has ever seen the end of any one of our worlds. I mean, they're incredibly enormous.
Yeah.
But it's I mean, we also are working on a lot of different gameplay that will also initially. What we have in our beta right now is similar to some features in Minecraft, but eventually the things that we're working on in our game design will set us way apart from that. There's a lot that we want to do that Minecraft is not doing.
Yeah,
and it's.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and it's not just Minecraft. It's Terraria and Starbound and other games like this too that have been an inspiration for us.
Yeah, I mean, all those are extremely popular, and I mean, if one can make it, then a dozen can make it. It's
right.
There's definitely room for it, and I think one of the things that I kind of that you kind of touched on there was the exploration part of it. You mentioned that you've never seen the edge of your own game. I mean, how would you accomplish something like that? And I know it might get a little technical, but I mean, how can your game go on forever, essentially?
So just to be very honest, it doesn't actually go on forever, but it conceptually goes on forever. So at some point, way out in the distance, past where most people could ever run, it will start to break down on you for technical reasons. Things will look worse and worse. But it's so far out there that it really doesn't matter a whole lot. And it's a fixable problem as well. But the way that we're able to do this is it's actually similar to the way Minecraft and other games work. If you would like a technical explanation here, what we do is we're actually using a deterministic function. So we can say that for this point in space, I want to know what is supposed to be there. And so as long as I give you the coordinates or feed in the coordinates, the system will tell me, hey, that's a cave inside a mountain, and or it's a desert sand dune, or perhaps the ocean. And literally all we're doing is just feeding in a coordinate, and it tells us what actually goes there. And there is no other information that we're feeding in. And so, in that sense, we're able to have users pop into a world, and we just basically load that world in as they're running around, and everything that you see is computed on the fly.
Okay, so I mean, I guess the first time I kind of know something like that was, personally, maybe Diablo 2 had something close to that. I mean, they had, here's one of 8 different types of caves. There should be a cave in this area, and you can randomly generate this cave in this area. Like, it's just depending on where the player is, and then the computer kind of takes it from there. And through enough, random choices, through the computer, I guess the world becomes essentially infinite and essentially, varied to, or essentially individual for every player. About right?
Yeah. One way to look at it, if you were to think about this, it might be easier to think about it in 2D. So if you imagine that the way that we build this thing up, we built it up in layers. So you might say, hey, the simplest thing that I want to do is I just want to create a world that has a flat plane. There's nothing more than that. And you literally can say, your function can say, hey, based on the elevation, if I'm above this point, it's open space, and if I'm below this point, it's solid ground. And so literally you're just looking at the elevation, and that tells you that anywhere that you look, whether it's going to be ground below you or air above. So that's kind of a starting point, and then you can imagine that we progressively layer additional features, if you will, onto this terrain. So with a little bit of fractal noise, if you want to call it that, we're able to kind of mix it up a little bit. Maybe turn that plane into hills or mountains.
Okay.
And then if you wanted caves, that's yet another feature that you could layer on top of that and determine where those are going to go, and eat away at the mountains. And it's
just that one little feature of kind of making the world very random, very individual, that kind of thing. I mean, I guess that has to be central to your game. I mean, that's kind of what makes Minecraft great. That's kind of what makes a lot of games out there great. Is that you can come in every time and have something different. It's not the same thing over and over again. I mean, it gives you immense replay value. And like, are you finding people going through trying to find the perfect world, or or can you actually kind of customize your own? Saying this place needs to have a lot of caves. I'm looking for a world with a lot of caves, so it needs to have tons of caves.
Right.
So we have that ability. We have that ability to actually turn a dial and dial up the caves or dial them down. But we haven't actually exposed that to the user yet.
Okay.
It's happening behind the scenes, and it's quite easy to do. But we just need to provide the UI for it, and then store that information. So it's coming.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, the plan is to, hopefully give users the ability to just totally customize their world. So it's like sort of like some level of control of like how high the hills are, and how many trees there are, and how many caves and pathways, and how much grass and that sort of thing. So lots of control.
Yeah. People really seem to enjoy games, especially games where you give them a lot of creativity, and the more control they have, the more fun they have seen with it. They create their own game types, they create their own variants, mods. How far into the process of building this game are you guys?
That's an interesting question, because it feels like we'll never be done.
It's a huge idea, yeah.
Yeah, there's to put it another way, there's endless things to do. I kind of feel that no matter what we add to this, there would always be something more that we could do and really have fun in doing it.
Well, and that's, I guess that's part of the I mean, you don't have to give it all out at once. I mean, you can do it and then keep adding improvements and keep updating it. And I'm assuming as people go to the website, they'll get those updates as you continue to add more and more things to it. So that's going to keep it interesting. You don't want it to be stale. You don't want to stagnate and just say, well, we have 5 features and that's it, folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And we're hoping that as long as we have fun adding features and just adding in new types of gameplay that the audience will continue to find it interesting too.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and I was going to say, pretty soon we'll have the patcher back again, so you won't have to go to the website to get an update. It'll just sort of happen.
All right. Yeah. So, Mark, let me ask you this: what specific industry problems are you looking to address with this game?
Oh, I don't know if we're looking to address any specific industry problems. It's mostly about just allowing our players just to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
We're really I could probably talk about technical challenges, if you will, or something along those lines.
Well, the other thing is, for instance, like with Minecraft, we're not, having players host their own servers. So, basically we're taking care of all that. So you play multiplayer with other people in your world, and you just open your world, and somebody else goes. And the thing that we're doing is basically increased connectivity between players. So you can basically search for anyone else's world within the home screen that you've got in the game. So one of your friends creates another world. You can jump into that world and play with other people very easily. And then we're working on basically giving the admin of each world permissions that they can control, so that they basically can invite certain people to make edits and block other people from making edits, because of course one of the first things some people do is they'll jump in and start ruining, vandalizing things. So we want to give people the ability to protect the cool stuff that they make too.
You mean like the grievers on Minecraft? They
exactly.
come in,
Yeah.
Yeah, we just had we actually just had one of our correspondents come on and mention that he actually runs a Minecraft server for his son and all of his friends, and he, and we went over all the griefers and the backups and how to restore and that kind of thing with Minecraft. So I'm guessing you're going to have some kind of system in place to not only back up but to restore different, instances of a player's game.
Right.
Yeah, we can kind of do that at the moment if you're lucky, and we just happen to have backed up at the right point in time. Then we can do it. But beyond that, we have what we call permission blocks, and it allows a world creator to set aside an area where only they can edit without locking down the entire world.
And that's the thing that we have now, but really the thing that we want to have is more robust in terms of, offering basically a whole system of settings where, you can basically, check somebody as okay to edit or okay to just visit, and sort of like even, possibly reverse that permission block where you give them a little parcel of land to build in rather than, just having to use that to block off your one structure.
Yeah, that could lead to like actual communities where it's like, oh, you want to buy a plot? This place is popular. It's, it's essentially gonna be real estate at that point.
Right. Be a land baron.
Yeah, and but one of the things that you're mentioning that the servers are going to be hosted on your end, and obviously that's extremely different from Minecraft. It's kind of similar to some of the others, but it's why did you host for that? Is it just because you're going to be pushing the social aspect so much more that you're going to want, because right now the only way to get into a different server on Minecraft is to either find a listing online or and then connect to it. It's the user actually going out and doing a lot of the legwork to find it. Are you hoping to have some kind of better system to connect and share and join other people as you play?
Yeah. We really initially the initial idea for hosting our own servers was that we just wanted to make it easier for the players. Just to if you download our game, you can hop right in, pick a world, and really go for it. And one of the nice things about it is that let's say that somebody's created this world and they've gone in, they've made all these edits, and now they're no longer online. That world is still available for you to load, and we can have a basic world loaded in roughly 20 seconds.
Really?
And
It's pretty quick.
that would be without a real baseline world. Some of the more popular worlds with heavier editing or what have you take a little bit longer to load. But yeah, you can hop right in, and I can go check out something that Matt's been working on, even if he's not online, and do whatever I want to do. Leave, and then Matt can kind of come back and see what I've done.
Yeah.
And it works out pretty well.
And
sorry. Yeah, I was going to say one more thing was that the other reason for this was that it also, by hosting our own servers, it allows us to choose if we it leaves our options open if we want to do some more interesting gameplay in the future, where we really do want to be in control of our servers, as far as being able to handle stuff on our back end. Maybe not completely prevent cheating, but hopefully avoid some of it. Make it a little bit more difficult.
That's what I was actually curious about, because when you do that, I mean, as soon as you make them host it on their servers, I mean, that just means that you give them the tools, and it's a sandbox. You know, they get to play however they want, they get to create wherever they want, that kind of thing. But when you host the servers, I guess that gives you some responsibility of, first of all, maintenance, and then that gives you the second responsibility of, I mean, are you going to allow modders? You know, how deep are people going to be able to get into the tools that you give them? You know,
Yeah,
as far as modding.
So I don't think that we've really fully made the choice as to whether or not folks will be able to run their own servers eventually. It's definitely a possibility, and there's definitely really great things about it. So it's kind of a question we're thinking about at the moment. But for the time being, we're playing things out as though we're hosting our own servers.
Okay. So that means nobody can cheat.
Yeah, and as far as mods go, it's a really it certainly does make it trickier to incorporate mods that you're going to be hosting on your own servers. Certainly we would have to be aware that somebody could have like a runaway a runaway process that takes up a little bit too much of the the system resources, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that could happen too. Go ahead, Craig.
No. I'm. Go ahead, Ben. You had a question.
It's there have been many games. I mean, the one I'm thinking of that is somewhat similar to this is maybe even Civ 5 or some of the other things where they have an online version and an offline version. And offline, do whatever you want, go crazy, have fun. Online, you kind of have to stick to the rules, but you get the added perk of playing with others and having a community. So I mean, I know you guys are still really early in the decision process, but if my 2 cents were to be thrown in there, it would be offer some kind of offline and online choice.
So I'm sorry.
Yeah. Actually, Matt, we haven't heard from you for a while, so.
All I was going to say is that we do currently have a basic offline mode right now, so you can do some offline. You can create an offline world and play in it right now, but right now it's just basics.
All right, so Matt, who are you aiming for? Who's going to be a typical MyDream user?
I mean, right now we've got people of all different ages playing. I mean, there's kids in there and there's adults. So yeah, I mean, we're basically aiming for trying to get something that can appeal to pretty much anybody that wants to try it out or has the ability to. I don't know if you've got anything to add to that, Mark.
Yeah. I think that we're really looking to make a game that appeals to a large audience. We don't have to appeal to everybody, obviously, but yeah, I think that there. Hopefully, when we're done with this, there are a lot of things to like for a lot of folks. And you can find your own style of gameplay, hopefully within our worlds.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, we're at the bottom of the hour. We're going to take a little break. If you have a comment or question for our guest, give us a call at 347-884-8881. 347-884-8881. Our guests are both from MyDream, Matt Laverty and Mark Davis. We're going to take a little break at the bottom of the hour here. I just want to mention that our Computer America contests are in full swing. Head over to our contest page at computeramerica.com and get your entries in. We have the Logitech contest is up. We have our show reminder winner contest. All of our contests are free, and all of them are private. We give your contact info out to anybody, unless you're a winner, because then we'll give your contact info to Logitech so they can mail you your prize. But get your entries in. I know that the Logitech contest, a lot of you are getting your entries in now, and that's encouraging. And that runs for 6 weeks. And it goes through the 27th of February, midnight, and then over the weekend we draw the 3 winning names, and then on the March the 2nd we'll announce the 3 big winners. So check out our contest page at computeramerica.com. Ben, I understand we're going to have some interesting news stories coming up in the second hour as well.
Yeah, we are, and like I said, they're mainly going to be focused on gaming. So sorry, Microsoft, Apple, everything that you guys are doing. You're going to have to wait another day. So, gaming, think, was having PlayStation, Xbox, some stuff about the new Silent Hill.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
All right, good. All right, well, you listen to Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. We're talking to MyDream. Matt Laverty is the creative director, and Mark Davis is the co-founder and CTO of the company. We have lots more coming up. Give us a call, 347-884-8881. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Oh, hey, you came back. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America, this time the BITS Tech Deck Cable Corral. BITS Limited has some very cool gap fillers for many of the hassles that, well, they confront even barely geek people. And this review is their Tech Deck Cable Corral, a bent wire wonder that keeps all kinds of cabling from running asunder. The steel wires create an open trough about 6 inches wide, 2 feet long, and 4 inches deep, with hardware that lets you mount its 4 extended top points underneath a desk or a shelf. With the open sides and slanted bails, you can run any needed mix of power, network, or AV cables, for example. Cables can easily enter or exit at any point along its run, The gear beneath, whether on a shelf or on the floor, stays in the clear, and you can line up several of these for longer runs, all without the bother of cable strapping. Bottom line, the Tech Deck Cable Corral from Bits Limited is a capable cable duct that keeps wiring nicely tucked. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. It's 33 minutes past the hour, and we have the company MyDream here, and we have the CTO and the founder, Matt and Mark, and we're just kind of one, digging into the game, and two, just kind of going over why you felt the need to make this game in general, things like that, and where did we leave off? Kind of left off with.
I'd asked Matt, who the typical user was.
Yeah. And I believe you said something along the lines of everyone, which is perfect. That's who you want playing your game, everyone. But I mean, who are like, if there was a type of person, there are people who are into first-person shooters, people who are into RPG, that kind of thing. I mean, there are definitely categories of gamers. Who do you think MyDream is going to appeal to out of all those?
I mean, it's a first-person game right now, so obviously, people who are used to first-person shooters and that sort of thing, I mean, they're going to understand the controls of the game. People who play Minecraft are going to understand, basically what we're doing in terms of building and terraforming and so on. So, I mean, and initially, I think, with a lot of this, we have some system requirements that are geared towards people who have the machines that can run that sort of game. So
that's we actually haven't talked about that. What kind of system requirements are you shooting for? Because I mean, I hate to keep bringing up Minecraft, but it just, reminds me so much of it. I mean, you have system requirements that can go all the way down to a 5-6-year-old computer, and it can still barely run the minimum, to any kind of strong horsepower desktop you have, and it can go high up. I mean, where are your specs kind of going for?
Yeah. So we actually we may not make this obvious enough within the game, but different world types have different performance requirements. So, for instance, if you wanted to play on a MacBook Air from, say, 2 years ago, you could do that. Hopefully you still can. I need to go back and test that. But at last check, you could still play on a MacBook Air. It was like roughly 2 years old. But you're going to be mostly limited to some of the basic world types, like flats and grass world, things that are fairly flat, but there's still a lot of fun to be had. You can make anything that you want. You can sculpt and build anything that you want, and still be able to have reasonable performance on those low-end machines. I actually got this thing up and running on my Surface Pro 3. So technically it runs on a tablet. It's cool. Yeah, so it's and again, it handles like kind of our medium intensity worlds, if you will.
The Surface Pro 3 isn't a slouch. I mean, that's a pretty good.
It really is.
I mean, it's a pretty sophisticated little computer. But granted, it looks like a tablet, but it's still. I mean, it runs full implementation of Windows, and it's pretty powerful. So I'm glad to hear that it will run, on MyDream.
Yeah, I was shocked to turn that thing on and hear a fan running on a tablet, but I guess it needs it. Yeah. So my dev machine, I'm running it's a quad core Intel, technically 8 cores if you count the virtual ones, and the graphics card that I use on a daily basis is a NVIDIA 680M. So it's not exactly a slouch. It's a few years old at this point. and I usually have fairly reasonable performance in most of the worlds, but we do allow our quality settings to go up to the point that it makes it rather painful on my laptop, and I have to take it over to a system that's running like a 980 to really play at the very top quality settings. But that's not really a requirement.
So I guess sometime in the future you're actually going to go through and do benchmarking and actually have like a minimum 2.4 gigahertz processor, that kind of thing, and you're going to have a spec those kind of specs up on your site, or is it just?
Yeah, so we have some general guidelines up on the site. We probably ought to update those in a way where it indicates what type of world you can join based on what your machine can do. And perhaps we'll actually get it to a point where we actually ought to detect that, but we're not quite there yet.
All right. Well, is it a fair question, Matt, to ask you? I mean, we sort of who your Mark. I mean, who your competitors are. I mean, we've mentioned Minecraft several times, but
sure. They're a competitor and an inspiration at the same time.
Right.
So
Anybody else you might consider to be competitors to you, or?
Not necessarily a direct competitor. I think for where we're ultimately going to go with this, although really we're leaving some of our options open too. I think that we don't even know, where exactly we'll be in 2 years.
I think there are a lot of games out there that are moving into this space too, but I don't know that there's anybody out there that's exactly like us in a lot of ways. So,
well, expand on that. What makes you different?
Well, so I mean, something we kind of talked about before, but you kind of mentioned the social connectivity for multiplayer and servers and everything, and that's a big factor here in that we want to provide the game and the stage to kind of show off what you've created to the other people that are in your circles or whatever you want to call it. And so, whatever your world is, whatever you've done, you can invite people with minimal difficulty and get them in, and it's all like within our system and everything. So, and so, I feel like that's one of the biggest differentiators between us and some of the other people out there.
Well, all right, Mark. Let me go back to you and say, I mean, you're doing this now. Obviously, what are some of the challenges that you see in this space that you, as you begin to continue to develop this product?
Yeah, well, we have a very small team, and so it's certainly been a challenge with a very small team, limited budget and tight schedule to make everything happen, and on time, on budget, and so we wear a lot of hats, certainly.
And yeah, and I mean, one of the biggest things there is actually related to the server and just, making sure the worlds are running and making sure everything's operating and, going over and, kicking the server when we need to.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
If Facebook makes an offer for $6 billion to buy your company, then you would, as they did with Minecraft,
I think that we would consider that. I don't speak for everybody, but for myself.
I think a lot of people would sell at that point. But I will mention both of you. No offense, sound pretty young. Maybe even a couple years out of college or what have you. Is this either one of your first time working on a computer game, or do you have some experience in the?
Oh no.
Actually, I'll take that a little bit as a compliment.
That's right.
It's kind of great. We're actually kind of older guys in our space, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Mark and I are both the same age. Maybe we look younger than we are, but.
You guys look young, so yeah.
Yeah, we've worked on quite a few games in the past and quite a few things together actually. So
yeah, we actually we met at Big Fish Games a number of years back. Worked on some projects over there. Worked there for a few years, and then kept in touch and worked on projects in between. And
when is MyDream actually going live, or is it's actually live now and you're just continuing to develop it?
Yeah, so it's live right now, but it's definitely an alpha version, but it's very much out there. Anybody that wants to check it out can go to our website, mydream.com, download the game. It's free, at least for now, and hop in and have at it.
Okay, well that's good. It's always to get people involved early on in the condition. And you say the game is free, at least for now. It's in the alpha version, but it's operational. And how long has it been up?
I would say that we had a bit of a reboot last year, but in its current state, it's
couple months.
Yeah, it's been up for a few months in the current state.
All right. Well, what kind of reaction are you getting? I mean, how many people have you signing up to play it?
Yeah. So because it's an alpha, and we've certainly had our alpha issues. I'm sure that we've turned away a few people at times just due to some of the bugs that we've encountered because, hey, it's alpha, but it's free and it's out there. But all the same, even with some of these bugs, we've actually had some users do just absolutely incredible things in some of our worlds. I don't know how many hours some of these guys have spent, but it's just incredible the things that they've created. It blows my mind. And
give us some examples of what's mind blowing.
Yeah. So there's one particular world. I wish I could remember the exact name. I think it's like First World or something like that.
Right.
And you hop into this world, and it looks like, okay, hey, there's like these structures out in the desert, and that's cool. Certainly, some time and effort went into that, but then you start looking around and you discover that, wait a second, this is just like the tip of the iceberg. This guy has actually tunneled down deep into the earth and built these just massive, man-made tunnels and caverns, and then created like entire cities basically down there. And so, as somebody that's working on the tech, and I've got my nose buried in this stuff every day, it's really inspiring for me, and really certainly gratifying to be able to hop into some of these worlds like that and actually see somebody really enjoying this and going to town and just really pushing the limits. That's actually probably one of the most satisfying things about the job.
Yeah, I mean, seeing people.
It got a real Gurren Lagann feel about that whole tunneling underground, just having cities all over underground. So,
yeah,
very dystopian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fun. It's fun, like when you look at some world, you think, oh, hey, that's cool, but then it turns out just to be so much more.
No, I'm sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mark. I want to interrupt.
Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, it's really interesting too when you go, because we'll just randomly jump into different users' worlds sometimes just to see, especially if it's started to get in the hundreds of thousands of edits, and we're like, wow, what's going on in there? And it's cool to just jump in, and sometimes, like Mark said, you don't see any edits right off the bat. Like maybe you're in a redwood forest or something like that, and you're like, okay, there's 200,000 edits in here. Like, what's going on in this world? Where is all this stuff? And you go and explore, and it's like eventually you find like way out somewhere, or maybe they've left a trail or something, that there's like a castle out on a mountain or something, and it's like this impossibly hard place to get to. Like even just in this game where it's like you've got to actually scale the side of the mountain, go through caves and things like that, and then on top of this thing there's this impressive castle. And that's really cool. I mean, we love to discover that stuff.
Yeah, actually, Matt has actually created a castle that takes, I think, about half an hour to actually travel. It takes 20 minutes running through like this epic cave system before you get to the other side of this mountain range, and that's traveling at game speeds, which are pretty fast, and so you get to the other side of this mountain range, and it's still another 10 minutes or so before you actually hit all this building. But to shorten that time a little bit, we've been using our questing system as kind of a portal system. So you can say, hey, I'd really like to do this quest, and it will actually port you right over to some particular starting point that the quest creator has set aside. We really need to actually implement portals for real, but that's how we've been using those. One thing that we're actually looking at, and I can't say if and when we'll get this in the game, but it's something that I'd personally like to do, and that's being able to actually create portals that where you port to your friends' worlds. So you can actually run down a path and hey, there's a portal, walk through it, and of course you have to go through the world load, so 20 seconds plus, but then at some point maybe you pop into something that your friends have been working on, and you can play through that, and then pop into somebody else's world or back or whatever.
And you could use that to basically link together one very long quest like that, where
it's almost like paying quest, yeah.
Almost like gives a different meaning to the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the features that I think is kind of unique that I actually really haven't heard of is, not only do you get to create your world, you get to create this and that, a lot of creativity, but the quest system, and we haven't really talked about that, so I think, we should hit on that real quick. I mean, why put in a quest system? Why not let people run around like chickens with the head cut off, just, going around willing it? Like, what does the quest system add to the game?
Well, the quest system really just kind of allows you to make a sort of game experience for yourself that you would like others to experience. So it's like, you can sort of go in right now and almost, trap a pathway into some space that you created in a way that's almost similar to something like a tower defense type game. And it just, it's just another dynamic way to, make those structures more worthwhile for people visiting. And I don't know, I mean, it's for your friends, for people visiting, but it's also, I find it personally interesting just thinking about planning out something that's got, dart shooters mounted in the wall and got dragon like turrets that shoot fireballs and ice cannons and things like that. And it just gives you another dynamic element to think about in the planning of your structure.
Well, we have about 9 minutes left. Let's talk a little bit about what's coming next for MyDream. Why don't you start, Mark?
Yeah. So one thing that we need to clean up is we're working to get our bugs cleaned up so that we have a little bit more polish. But I think there's a lot of fun to be had as is. So we're looking to actually. We've been greenlit on Steam, and so over the next month or so, we're gonna get ourselves integrated and hopefully become available on Steam just as soon as we possibly can.
Well, that's a biggie, isn't it?
It's kind of a real biggie for us.
Yeah.
So.
Matt, you want to also talk a little bit what's next for MyDream?
Sure. Yeah. So, on the creative side, we have the sort of local inhabitants to our game worlds right now are like these cute little rock creatures. And so those rock creatures, the NPCs, they're out in the wilderness and spawn from various locations. And so what we're working on right now is a lot of ways to interact with those creatures, and basically, some gameplay elements that those creatures are going to bring. So right now, they will trigger the traps in your, if you've trapped a castle or something. So if one of them goes to walk in, suddenly it'll set fire to this creature and so on. That's kind of fun at the moment. But there's a lot more of that happening in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, and now you're the creative the developer, so you're the creative director. So you come up with the ideas and you say, okay, I want this idea, and you take this to Mark, and then Mark develops it. Is that basically how it works? I mean, is that how you do it?
Pretty much. I mean, it's a team collaboration on the concepts and everything, and then I'll take a concept in terms of the idea, and then work out visually how things should look, and then we'll talk about how those pieces need to fit together in order for it actually to be developed on on the programming side, and how the animations and everything fit into that, and try and determine the best way to accomplish it.
Now, who's the artist? I mean, because it looks quite beautiful. I mean, you mentioned that Minecraft is very blocky. I mean, do you have artists on your team, or do you guys do that? Now, who does the actual rendering of these?
Yeah. So actually, Matt is one of two artists on the team. We wind up wearing a lot of hats here, and so So Matt is responsible. Actually, Matt. Maybe you want to explain.
Oh yeah, I mean, just to continue that, then it's myself and Scott, and basically the two of us split the responsibilities after the concept phase on developing pretty much every 3D object and 2D object, and UI, and pretty much anything graphically that's needed in the game. But yeah, there's just two of us. We're a very small team. And then on the development side, I'll let Mark take this, but there's only three.
Yeah, we actually were two devs up until just recently, and we picked up a third dev. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more done a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So again, we split it up. I do a lot of core engine work, but I certainly help out with the gameplay, and I handle a lot of the special effects, and.
Let me ask you this. So what are you using? I mean, what language are you programming all this in?
Yeah. So we're actually using Unity as a base engine. And we're using C# as the main programming language that works with Unity cross-platform.
Okay, and your background is you have a programming background. You learned this.
Yeah. Programming background, all sorts of different languages. It just happens that C# is the language of the moment for us, thanks to Unity.
And you like it?
Yeah, I do. I wish they would upgrade. I don't like being held back at 3.5. Come on, Unity, let's get this thing upgraded.
But MyDream, it was totally written in the C#.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything that you see, it's C# code.
You have to stick when you design something like this. Once you pick the language, you have to stick with it. You can't change midstream, right? I mean,
you really do. C# was a natural choice for us, just because that's one of three languages, and really the main language that Unity supports. It's nice. I spent some time with Java in the past, and
Java.
I actually, I'm not going to start a holy war here, but I happen to like C#.
Yeah, exactly. I've had more agony and more grief with Java, and don't get me.
Apparently, Java and Flash are just written off in Craig's book. It's just don't even mention them.
All right. Okay.
HTML5 does everything they do, as far as I'm concerned. So.
Right on.
Do everything.
Okay.
And
without all the headaches and all the plugins and everything, it's just.
We have like a minute or two left. Just want to get it out there real quick. Right now, alpha free, good to go. Beta, you said you were greenlit for Steam. Eventually, what do you think the price point is going to come in at? Like when you have it more developed.
That, Matt, I don't know if you have an opinion on that, but I'm not sure that we should even say because
we are not
I'm
the
not
guys.
sure that we know.
More meetings are necessary.
Well, we have other people sort of in charge of that area of things, so we are not the guys to commit to that.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, well, listen, if you want to, it's mydreams.com, or you go to the Computer America website, go to the site, or go to their show notes page. You'll see today's show, which is January the 20th, and we have a link to the My Dreams website there. Also on our Facebook page, the link is up as well, and that will stay for as long as those services are around. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for being with us here tonight on Computer America, and wish the best of luck to you and all good things. Okay.
Well, thank you so much, and thank everybody that's listening as well.
All right. Again, Matt and Mark, thanks for being with us here on Computer America, and you have a great evening and best of luck to you.
Thanks,
All right.
you too.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Good night.
All right. Coming up in hour 2, we're going to have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. And it looks like every story you've selected is a game.
Weird how that worked out, isn't it? It's so strange. I mean, Intel didn't do anything. Apple didn't do anything. There's no manufacturer. It was weird.
Yeah, it's all games.
So strange.
I wonder what could cause that. Anyway, you're listening to the Computer America Show on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network, and the Blog Talk Radio Network. We're coming to Voice America TV Network as well. We got another hour of Computer America. We got another News Tips Polls review from Marty Winston. That's all coming up in hour 2 of the Computer America Show.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest running national
syndicated radio talk show on computers.
You want to do it?
I just know it. I know it by now.
Let me hear you do it. Okay, you do it.
Welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest running nationally syndicated talk show on computers and technology. I am your host, Ben Crossman.
Close. And I'm your host.
I don't have it written down anywhere, so this is just exposure. It's like therapy. It's just drilled into my brain.
No, we need to get you exposed. We have to get you.
When I become senile and I am losing my mind, and I think it's 1973, even though I was born in '91, I'm going to be repeating these lines.
Okay. Well, you'll have
coming off my lip. It's going to be a sad sight, but I'm going to know it.
There you go. Well, again, it's welcome to hour 2 of the show, and we've again thanks to MyDream.com for being with us. I thought it was very interesting, and
I mean, it's not just a video game. Video games. I mean, the game itself, MyDream, sounds interesting, but it's also kind of seeing a video game that's being developed as we speak, because I mean they're very early in their development process. They're still in alpha. They're like 0.6. So normally, it's like version 1.0.3, and they're in version 0.6. So it's still very early in the process, and I think it's going to develop a lot. But it was interesting to hear about these guys and the active development of it.
Have you actually tried it? Have you been there and tried to play it?
MyDream? No, actually, not yet.
Go in there and try it and see.
I tend to stay away from alphas.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's nothing. It's nothing against these guys. It's nothing against any alphas. It's just alphas are meant to be alphas. They're meant to be played by the developers. They're offering access to games earlier and earlier. First, it was beta testers, that kind of thing, and now they're offering alphas. And don't get me wrong, a lot of companies are doing it. It's just alphas are kind of bare bones, which they're supposed to be because they're alphas. I mean, that's just the way of the game. It's your first rough draft, and then your beta is you add more features, get it more fleshed out, maybe get some people in to test out some of the key elements, and then you have your full release after your beta. So personally, I stay away from alphas, and unless I'm really looking forward to it, I tend to stay away from betas as well.
Okay. So you alpha and beta, but you actually wait for the first the golden.
I mean, the full release, that's the dream. That's what you want to see. Like, unless you are the child on Christmas who cannot wait, that is the dream, is for the full release.
Well, there are a lot of games out there. Let's face it. You don't have to mess around with alphas and betas because there's so much more. There's so much.
There are a lot of games out there.
There are a lot of games out there to play. So absolutely. All right. Well, again, thanks to MyDreams for being MyDream being on the show. Maybe we'll have them back, in a year or so, and to see how things are developing.
I mean, their game's going to change so much once they release it for Steam. They mentioned they're greenlit by Steam. That's where the Steam community votes on a game. They say, okay, this game we're going to start funding and supporting, and then they are able to actually release not just an alpha, but an early demo of their game where people can actually pay for it, kind of like Kickstarter.
Very nice.
And they're going to start getting funds and actually start developing this game, with some gusto. So their game's going to change a lot in the next year. I wouldn't be surprised if they come back in a year, if it's just a completely different game.
It probably will be. Yeah.
It probably will be.
What was it? Microsoft again bought Minecraft for what, $2 billion?
Yeah, it was up there. I mean, Notch, he was the creator and CEO of the company. He walked away with a cool, I want to say he walked away with a cool $1.7 billion.
Yeah. I mean, but he started out like these guys, right?
Oh yeah, no, just same thing. Just go back in time about 5 years.
Not in his wildest dreams, I'll bet you, that he think he was going to do something like that.
Over $1 billion. That I was watching a I don't want to say documentary, but just people talk about how much money $1 billion is.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So
1,000 millions. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
And $1 million is a lot of money. So I mean, if I don't know, that's the dream, is to sell your company to Microsoft or Apple or PopCap or what have you. That's the dream, is to sell out.
Okay. And then retire to Tahiti somewhere.
You buy a Tahiti.
Yeah, put a little umbrella in your drink, and that's it, on the beach.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, that was Steve Martin's ambition for his movie, with this umbrella. Be somebody.
Oh yeah, that was in the Jerk, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, that's right.
I liked it. It was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
Yeah. Okay, well, if nothing else, why don't we start doing some computer news? Okay.
All right.
All right, let's do it. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for
free.
Free. That's right. Everything in Slimware Utilities website.
You catch me on that one.
It's completely free. We use them here at the Crossman household. They are amazing. They really do clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. Download them all. Why wouldn't you? Keep them. Use them. You'll be happy that you did, and you'll thank us for it. SlimwareUtilities.com. And this first story, again, I heard about this 2 or 3 years ago. Some kid died. Again, a man dies. He dies after a 3-day game binge. So,
it happens.
Yeah. Paramedics rush to Taiwan Internet Cafe after the body is found slumped over the desk. The second such death to occur in 2015. What is going on with these people? A 32-year-old man, this is no kid, has been found dead in an internet cafe in Taiwan following what has been reported to be a 3-day gaming binge. Emergency services were called to the cafe based in Kaohsiung after an employee discovered a customer was slumped over his desk motionless. The man, known only by his surname Hesea, was rushed to a hospital where he was pronounced dead from cardiac failure.
Oof.
Believed that he likely died several hours before the discovery due to how stiff his corpse had become. In other words,
Rigor mortis.
Rigor had said it.
Several hours. I mean, I guess, and obviously this was in I want to say Taipei, Taiwan.
I mean, you're sitting next to the guy. You don't know if the guy next to you is.
Give people privacy over there. I'm not sure if it was an open air. They actually provided a picture of a cyber cafe. Obviously, in America, they're not really that popular. Cyber cafes, everyone has a laptop. No one really cares.
Yeah.
But cyber cafes, some of them actually have partitions, things like that, to give you a little bit more privacy. And it might have been one of those situations.
Well, according to the story, gamers sitting in the cafe continued as if nothing had happened when the paramedics arrived. So I'm thinking that that there was no partitions. It was more like the picture that we're looking at there. The CCTV footage, that's a closed video from the Internet Cafe, showed that he had a small struggle before he collapsed motionless. Okay. Cold temperatures and exhaustion from the extensive hours playing games are likely to have contributed to his cardiac arrest, a police statement read. They also added that he had been unemployed for a long time, and Internet cafes were the only place he could go to. Wow.
It happens.
His family said he would disappear for 2 to 3 days on end. Oh. Now, according to the Taipei Times, he was a quote-unquote regular customer who often played for consecutive days. When tired, he would sleep face down on the table or doze off slumped in his chair. This is according to a staff member at the Internet Cafe. That is why we were not aware of his condition in the beginning. Oh, they had seen him slumped over before. They just assumed he was sleeping. Okay.
Apparently, it's like, oh, don't worry, that guy passes out all the time on his computer.
Evidently. Well, his death is already the second to occur in Taiwan, in a Taiwan Internet Cafe this year, according to CNN. On January 1st, a 38-year-old man was found dead at an Internet Cafe in Taipei, apparently after playing video games for 5 days straight.
Man, apparently these older guys can't keep their gaming in check.
Net Cafe. Well, how old was that Korean kid? He was younger than that. He was in his 20s or teens.
If you're thinking about the one that tried to beat the, he was trying to beat like some Tetris or one of the older console game records, and he stood on his feet, I think, for like 18, 20 hours, something like that, and then he developed a clot, and he won, and then he fell over dead.
Well, wait a minute. Now the clot only comes usually when you're sitting. When you're standing, you don't get the clot. It's only when you're sitting.
When you're standing in the same position with your knees locked for 20 hours.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, that's not good.
No. Well, evidently, the story finishes up saying net cafes in the region offer extended gaming sessions at low prices. 8 hours of play can cost as little as $2. Wow. So obviously he didn't have a job, but obviously he had enough money to sit there and play games.
Well, I mean, if a computer costs you, let's say, $1,000, and then tack on your monthly utility bill, $2 for 8 hours. Let's say you do 8 hours a day, or in this case, you do, let's say, at 6 hours a day, or I'm sorry, $6 a day. That comes out to like what, $40 a week instead of paying for your own $1,000 gaming machine plus utilities. I mean, obviously you're gonna come out ahead if you don't have the money to go to a cyber cafe.
Yeah, well, he didn't come out ahead. He died, so
came out beneath.
Yeah, that wasn't good for him. But that's sad. I mean, you can kind of laugh and have fun at it, but at the same time, it's really sad because obviously this man was found himself in a distressful situation. I mean, he had no job. Obviously, he wasn't working on
video games were his escape, and he just kind of binged on it. I mean, that's an addiction if I've ever heard one. Unfortunately, kind of left him dead after 3 days of continuous gaming, which can happen. I mean, there are many websites that advocate when you do play video games for a long time. I mean, they advocate certain things, but I think the easiest one is every 30 minutes that you sit down at a computer and play, get up and walk to the fridge and walk back.
Yeah.
I mean, something as simple as that will, kind of stave off some of the worst things that can happen.
Get something to eat, just move around. play with the dogs, whatever, something.
Just something so you're not continuously, and this goes for all the youngins out there too. I mean, you may not think it has much of an impact, but just getting up, maybe do one jumping jack, and you're much better off than if you stayed sitting there for another hour. It's important.
Yeah, it is. What's the longest you ever sat at a game and played a game, Ben? I'm curious.
40 hours.
48 hours?
Yeah, 48 hours.
Wow. But you got
exactly. It was the launch of World of Warcraft. My friend and I, we were both waiting for anticipation. We were in eighth grade. I want to say 8th grade, and we've been waiting for it. We've been playing Warcraft 3, and it was actually when you were quote unquote dating my mother, and you went away for an entire weekend, and I had not moved. I had eaten a little bit. I had not bathed. I had not done anything for 48 hours, and you came home that weekend.
I remember this now. Yeah.
And I was gross, but I felt good. I felt good.
Well, you were younger too. You weren't, Oh
no, I was hopped up on sugar, and I was good to go for a couple days. So.
Well, when you were in your early, you were still in your teens, right?
Oh yeah, no, I was maybe 14, 13.
Yeah, 14, 13. So okay.
13 actually. That's it.
I have never heard of a kid in that young, dying from games. This tends to happen in older adults.
Well, that and kids, your mother kind of slaps you on the back of the head and says, "Hey, go take a shower," and then you get up and you go take a shower. When you're 38, you're kind of setting your own hours, your own times, your own whatnot.
Yeah. One of the things that I had to get to understand, and I finally learned, I always said, I would say, "Hey, can you do this?" And I figured, you can always put a game on pause, but a lot of these games you can't pause them.
That's something that Computer America audience, if you learn nothing else, be this: that today's games, the majority of the time, you cannot pause them. You cannot you cannot press start. You cannot put them on hold. You cannot tell your friends you'll be right back and you can go do something. You do them in sprints, so you'd be in the middle of something and you can't just pause it. It's active. There are other people. It would be cumbersome if every person, if you're playing with 40 people at one time, it would be, cumbersome if every one person could pause the game for 15 minutes.
So if you were to literally leave the game, or just, and you can't leave the game either because that makes it difficult.
You can't leave the game because it kind of ties you into that one instance. Be it Call of Duty, be it World of Warcraft, be it whatever game you're playing with other people, it ties you in there, and you are the only one available.
Right, exactly. And you have to understand that's how these games work.
And I mean, they're not being disobedient; they're just trying to finish their game. And in all honesty, most of the time, it'll take 5 to 10 minutes, and then they'll get up and they'll put the controller down for a couple minutes, and they'll do whatever you say. It's just for those. Just for those few minutes, they really need to finish that game.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, it's sad to report that, but hopefully we'll see.
It's a good health service.
Yes,
Get up, walk around. Even if you don't play games, but you sit at your computer for a long time. Maybe if you work with computers, maybe if you're an email junkie for a big corporation, get up, walk around. Do a lap around the cubicles, whatever, what have you.
It's good.
It's good.
And this goes for even if you're taking anything when you're sitting. If you're taking a long drive or you're taking a long, airplane flight, try to get up, walk around a little bit.
If you're driving, you might want to park the car and then get up and walk around. Don't just open the door and stick your legs out and flail them around. But same principle.
You can do that exactly. All right. So Ben and I are doing computer technology news, and although we're focusing mostly on gaming tonight,
because we should mention this, I think next month we're going to plan it out a little bit better, so we have a game developer and maybe another gaming company or some other game-related guest. But this is technically our second Gamer Tuesday of the month. We are going to try, because let's be honest, our Gamer Tuesdays have been popular. We get a lot of calls, we get a lot of feedback, saying how people like the Gamer Tuesdays. So we're going to expand it because don't get me wrong, Grayson Hamilton, great guest. He, as far as correspondence go, he is amazing. But giving the entire realm of video games to just one correspondent does it a disservice.
Okay. All
so
right.
there will be 2 Gamer Tuesdays from now on.
Okay, that's good to know. All right. Well, why don't you pick the next story?
All right. So this next one is about a new game that is actually being released by Blizzard. Blizzard, huge fan. They make Diablo, StarCraft, Warcraft, all those franchises. Hearthstone, if you're familiar, that's actually Hearthstone is actually more popular than any other game that they've made, and it's their most recent. So, they make great, top-notch, top quality games. They have a new one coming out called Heroes of the Storm. And Heroes of the Storm, think Defense of the Ancients. It's an online battle arena, so a MOBA, multiplayer online battle arena, and they just announced their new Founders Pack, which is like their limited edition, collector's edition, what have you. Blizzard always does it. They come with great goodies, and these goodies, I haven't read the story yet, but I bet they're great. So if you're interested in this, pay attention.
Okay.
So Blizzard has announced the Founders Pack bundle for its MOBA game, Heroes of the Storm. The pack grants immediate access to the game, which is currently in closed beta. So it sounds like you can actually purchase into the game if you did not make it into the beta. The Founders Pack includes 3 heroes: Gem Rainer, StarCraft; Diablo, obviously from Diablo; and Tyrande Whisperwind, who is obviously from Warcraft. 3 very popular heroes from the individual franchises. So the pack also includes alternative skins for each of these heroes, an epic mount, and 2,500 in-game gold, which would be their form of currency. Think if you played League of Legends, think RP. There's probably going to be 2 forms of currency, and gold is probably going to be the one you actually purchase with real cash for. So players can purchase the Founders Pack for $40 from the Battle.net shop. Blizzard also noted that the ability to purchase the pack may be temporarily suspended at any time in order to ensure a stable testing environment for the game. Alternatively, players interested in the sign-up for the closed beta can register at the Heroes of the Storm site. So Blizzard has not confirmed a release date for Heroes of the Storm because, in typical Blizzard fashion, it's ready when it's ready. They're not going to push something out when it's not. They said that the closed beta kicked off last week. So that's pretty much it. But I mean, this is going to be a big one. It involves all of the different Blizzard franchises that they've built up over the last 15, 20 years. Blizzard's been around for about 20 years now. Yeah. Includes heroes from all 20 franchises, and it's going to be very accessible, very easy to get into, and it's going to be a huge game.
I know you're a fan of Blizzard games. Is this something you're going to look at, or are you sticking with it?
Not only am I a fan of Blizzard games, I've been playing them for 20 years. Picked up way back in '94, I think, was my first Blizzard game. But I'm also a fan of League of Legends, which is currently the most played game out there on the market. So it's actually a mix of those two.
Okay.
So I'm very much looking forward to this game.
Okay, good. All right, this story again. Now, this is again from GameSpot. A Microsoft executive on Xbox One sales says there's more work to do, but it was a good holiday. And this is Phil Spencer, who says the most important thing was Xbox fans sticking with us is that they keep believing. And again, according to the story again by Eddie McCooch, he says. Microsoft's top Xbox boss, Phil Spencer, has spoken out to say that while the Xbox One enjoyed a strong end to 2014, and by the way, it outsold the rival PS4 in the U.S. for November and December, there is more work to do. Writing on Twitter, Spencer thanked Xbox fans for their support, attributing their faith in the Xbox brand as a key element in helping Microsoft turn the tide. So most important thing was Xbox fans sticking with us. They kept believing. Now another fan pointed out that even though the Xbox One outsold Sony's console for the final 2 months of the year, in fact the PlayStation 4 was the top-selling system overall for 2014. So Spencer replied, the PlayStation 4 is also doing very well. Console and game sales are strong, which is a good thing for the industry. Microsoft has not announced a new Xbox One sales number since November 2014, when the company said shipments of the system were approaching 10 million units. It's possible we'll hear a new number next week when Microsoft reports its latest earnings on the 26th of January. Yeah, okay.
I think everyone's. If Grayson was here, like I'm channeling my inner Grayson right now, I feel like he would say that everyone's trying to prove that their console is not a failure, that their console is not lagging. Not literally, but lagging in sales or being slow on the uptake. So obviously they're going to try to build up their numbers, even though probably PlayStation still has the most consoles sold, and Wii U is not even a question at this point, but PlayStation 4 obviously still has the leg up, but Xbox One is trying everything they can to puff out their chest and say, hey, look, we're making ground up, we're doing better, check us out.
Okay.
So it's they're being bold, and they're being boisterous about how great they're doing.
Okay.
As to whether they actually are, they're probably staying on par with PlayStation 4 at the moment.
I think they're pretty much equal. They're the two big gorillas. They're the two big gorillas in the arena.
I mean, they're two big gorillas, but PlayStation 4, they had such a great launch. I mean, their console just blew Xbox One out of the water in pre-orders, pre-sales, and the first year of sales for the next-gen consoles.
Yeah.
So PlayStation 4, you could think of it as they're on one level, and Xbox One is just on that, it's just on a lower tier of sales. And right now, in terms of sale numbers, they're probably dead even. It's just because PlayStation 4 had that leg up, they're going to be ahead for a while.
But Grayson Hamilton bought an Xbox One.
He did. He just to review games better, and he said fervently that he is not a convert. He was not swayed into the Xbox enclave, but he did purchase both of them. So he's adding to the numbers. Good, Grayson.
Okay. So why don't you do this? You have the next story.
Yeah, no. This next story is talking about Xbox flipping over to PlayStation, and apparently the PlayStation Network has some downtime, as anyone who has a PlayStation 4 would notice, and what they're doing to make it up to you. So here's what Sony is offering to make up for PlayStation Network downtime. So Sony on Thursday announced details about what it plans to offer the millions of PlayStation users affected by the recent PlayStation Network woes, which started Christmas Day and lasted around 3 days. That's some prime gaming time. I mean, that's when you first get your console and you want to play it. Sounds like a lot of people turned them on and were greeted with errors. So in a post on the PlayStation blog, titled "A Holiday Thank You," the Sony Network Entertainment VP plans to show our appreciation by doing the following. First, PlayStation Plus membership extension. Anyone who had an active membership or free trial on December 25th will receive a membership extension of 5 days. The extension will be applied automatically. In the event that your membership trial ends before the extension becomes available, you'll still receive the 5 extra days of Plus. So, maybe if you come from an Xbox environment, the PlayStation Plus is when you purchase and you get, sometimes you get free games, sometimes you get access to more apps. It's just their way of, a better membership with PlayStation. So even though they were only down for about 3 days, PlayStation is offering an extension of 5 days absolutely free. Mm-hmm. So don't sweat that. Don't feel you were cheated out of your days. You're actually getting a little bit more in return. So good for them.
Yep. Okay.
And then the second thing they're doing is a 10% PlayStation Store discount. So they'll offer you a 10% discount code to all PlayStation Network users that is good for a one-time discount of your total PlayStation Store purchase. Sony will announce more details about that offer later that month. So, in case you maybe had a few games, saved up, you weren't sure when to buy them or, what to spend it on, 10% kind of goes a long way when each thing you purchase is between $40 and $60.
Mm.
So, just a little bit of appreciation, a little bit of sorry, and, just, hey, sorry, our network was down. Here's some goodies.
Yeah, that's nice. It's always
Yeah,
nice.
it's good to see them. I mean, it has been about a month since it happened, but it's good to see that they came out and they're trying to make it right.
All right, very cool. All right, we have time to do another story here before the bottom of the hour. But we're going to have another news tips bulletin review from
Marty Winston.
Marty Winston. Yeah, exactly. Intel is going to be on the show tomorrow night. It's our Intel sponsor hour, so I'm looking forward to that. And this next story is from Polygon, saying that Intel initiative leads to a big goal, and that is the doubling of women in game development by 2025. Really?
That's an important story.
Yes, it is. Well, and again, this is from Polygon. According to them, the number of women working in the game industry will double by 2025 if the International Game Developers Association has its way. It's not a new desire by the association, a group which represents game developers from around the world, but the likelihood of that goal happening is now more possible than it ever was before. And that's thanks not only to the game industry's massive companies like Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo or even completely the International Game Developer Association itself. Nope. The possibility of a spike in game developer diversity doesn't come from within the game industry, but rather from Intel, and in part, it's confused running with a confused movement. Okay? And what we'll do is we'll continue the story when we come back. All right? We're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network, and on the Boost Radio Network. Ben and I are doing Computer and Technology News, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. We're going to continue this story about Intel. When we come back, we got a news tips bulletin review from Marty Winston. That's all coming up. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number. 1-866-663-MyTV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MyTV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV.
Aw, hello. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Acer XB280HK 4K 2K monitor. The first 4K display we got in for review is a 28-inch Acer XB280HK 4K 2K monitor. It's 3840 by 2160 pixels. A lot more pixels than you're likely to be looking at now. It's designed specifically for gamers. Later on, we'll review the lush NVIDIA graphics card it takes to drive it over a DisplayPort cable. Our judgment on picture quality begins, you don't anticipate this, with a magnifying glass. And we were impressed with the high ratio of active area per pixel, meaning the pixels are closely spaced for a better image tableau. When driven by a PC, NVIDIA G-Sync matches the GPU graphic processor speed to the screen refresh rate, and we note that the display is rated to 144 Hertz refresh. Compare that to 60 Hertz or 30 Hertz for what you're used to watching on TV, with a 1 millisecond response time. Bottom line, while the 28-inch Acer XB280HK 4K 2K monitor is great for gaming, it's also an asset to legibility for everyday computing, especially with multiple window multitasking going on. We even urge users to consider biting a second bullet and working doubly productively with a pair of these. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. It's bottom of the hour at the second hour of the show on our second Gamer Tuesday of the month. It's nice to say that. And yeah, we're doing computer and technology news brought to you by Slimmer Utilities, but with a gaming bent because it is, again, said Gamer Tuesday.
Yep.
So, Craig was just doing the story, from Polygon, and there's a lot to go over. A lot of it summarizing some past events that I think we can do real quick, but, we shouldn't probably, read this in its entirety because we'll be here for another 15 minutes.
It's a long story.
But,
I agree, it's a long story, but basically, I just want the Intel was involved with this. They're going to be with us on tomorrow. They might even speak about this topic. I don't know.
No, well, I mean, maybe it's their initiative, but some highlights that we kind of want to point at here is that Intel, they want to double the number of women in gaming, in game development. And one of the reasons for that is there was a scandal a couple of months ago called Gamergate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you remember this one, Craig.
I do.
Yeah, it's where a couple of high-ranking video game journalists were actually, they're all on an email mailing list, and they were, kind of cohorting with each other to say, okay, how are we going to spin this? What's everyone's take? How are we going to, play this to the public? That kind of thing. Which, if you're in journalism, Craig, I believe you are, mm-hmm. That's not what you do. You don't go talk to everyone else and say, okay, so what do I think about this? Mm-hmm. That's not journalism.
Nope.
So, all that happened, and eventually it led to a lot of kind of a crusade of harassment against a couple of the female game creators that are out there. And, and it was very ugly, not very nice of the gaming community, not the brightest moment, but, it happened. So Intel, seeing this, they kind of pointed to the fact that, yes, females they're pretty harassed in video games because it is such a male-dominated culture. Mm-hmm. You can't spin that any other way. There's just a large amount of men in video games, those who play it and those who create it. I mean, women are there just to a much smaller extent. So when they are, they tend to be the minority and the ones that are picked on. So Intel wanted to make a difference, saying that they want to make a difference and try to improve diversity, not just gender, but diversity in general. And one of those ways is to, of course, bring in more women who are very underrepresented. I mean, of my generation, I would say it's equal parts females and males who play video games. Not, professionally or anything like that, just in general. Whoever's going to pick up a controller, it's probably 50-50 a female or a male. But I think there's only like 20% of game developers are actually female. And most of those are centered in the artist realm. Not so much the the designing or anything like that. It's, they're more in the artists. So Intel wants more women in more positions throughout the gaming industry, and if that happens, obviously you're going to start getting, more African Americans, more Indians, more, just many ethnicities, because to be blunt, there's a lot of male and white game developers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's all you see right now. So Intel, by 2025, they want to make that diversity just all over the place. They don't want it to be a young white male's game. They want it to be an everyone, a more inclusive. So if this comes to pass, and I think Intel said that they were sinking something like $200 million or something like that into this, no, I'm sorry, $300 million into backing this initiative, and $300 million is probably going to go to scholarships, definitely scholarships for females to get, game developing degrees from universities and things like that. Maybe some incentives for companies to employ, females. Games are going to change, and for the better. It's the more, the different kind of people you put on a game, because people really do create stories of their experiences. And sure, you can look into history, you can look into math, you can look into science for some inspiration, but really it's your own personal history has some influence on how you create things. And when you have a majority of the people there, I mean, yeah, sure, you can have your own, your own special experiences, but when you don't have women, when you don't have, African Americans, when you don't have Indians, when you don't have what have you, other genders and other ethnicities in there, there's a large segment of experiences that are being blocked out. They're just being muscled out by by just who's creating the games. So games are going to change a lot in the next 25 in the next 10 years, and it's definitely going to be for the better.
I don't know if you remember but this is similar to when computers started coming out. It was mostly, guys who had computers. It was and it was
white males too.
Male dominated and everything. But look what's happened now. Everybody, I mean, you have as many women using computers today as there are men. I mean, and rightly so. I mean, because quite frankly, we live in a world today that without computers, it's a lot harder to do things, and I mean, and it's a better world for it. I don't think anything should be slotted to just white males. There should be diversity, and it's a very good thing. And
I mean, in some ways, the gaming gap, the fact that there's so many white males, that there's not so minorities are definitely up and coming, and females are definitely up and coming, but in a lot of ways, it's an extension of what happened in the 70s and the 80s with computers, and the fact that it was.
Sorry about that.
Oh, sorry about that. No, but it was an extension of that. White males, they dominated the computer culture. So of course they have kids who are, who maybe are white males or females, but it's just kind of an extension of that. And luckily, the computer industry in general is very receptive to women. I mean, there's a lot of women in it. There are women CEOs. There are there are women at all levels of technology.
Mm-hmm.
So now we just need to see that transition happen in the gaming industry. And the gaming industry, I mean, with Intel pushing this, and with, I think, just the way it's naturally going to go.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you completely.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
And it's good.
Very good.
Don't be afraid, frat boys, that your games are going to be invaded by women and other ethnicities. It's good. The more experiences, the better the games are.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Now. You have the next story, right? Exactly.
Yeah, even though I covered that one, the next story is indeed mine, and this is just a quick shout out. This is more of a movie update than it is an actual video game update, but this one from Games Radar. And after what seems like an eternity of waiting, the Deadpool movie will finally go in front of cameras this March with Ryan Reynolds in the lead role.
Oh, really? Okay.
Now, Craig, I know I showed you the Deadpool trailer.
Yes. And also, you're a huge fan of Ryan Reynolds. I know that.
Huge fan of Ryan. He is extremely funny. So according to Global News, the film will be shot in Reynolds' hometown of Vancouver, notable as the base for many other recent Fox productions, including last year's X-Men: Days of Future Past. Directed by visual effects maestro Tim Miller, Deadpool looks set to atone for what many fans consider to be the poor treatment of the character in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Hmm.
In Wolverine, I mean, I didn't see that one per se, but I remember him just being like his mouth was sewn shut, and he was in like a straitjacket or something like that.
Yes,
Like,
I remember that. Yeah, that was the role he played. But
and that is just not Deadpool.
well, that wasn't Deadpool.
It was Deadpool.
Really?
In that X-Men Origins Wolverine, that was Deadpool. That was Deadpool in that iteration.
Okay. Well, he was not a hero. He was a bad guy.
Yeah, no, he was a bad guy. And Deadpool, I mean, if you've never read the comics, he's snarky, he's kind of jokey, kind of
That's Ryan Reynolds. He does that.
Yeah, it's Ryan Reynolds to a T. But Deadpool, getting into some of the superpowers here, he has the same regenerative powers as Wolverine, but his are to a much greater extent.
Like what?
I mean,
How so?
like he can actually, get like they actually show like him getting sliced by Wolverine's claws, and he'll start healing immediately. Like it's almost like he's never affected. He'll get shot, he'll get punched in the face, he'll get bones broken, and they'll heal within seconds.
Well, and Wolverine, he feels the pain and then eventually heals within.
But that's some of the quirkiness of Deadpool is he actually uses that power to kind of be sarcastic, joking. He'll let the bad guys punch him around. Use him as a punching bag while he taunts them. Makes them angrier and angrier. Obviously, to make them make mistakes. And then of course he just regenerates and he comes back and he beats them. So I mean it's more that his powers. He can just get the crap beat out of him and then come back and do whatever he wants.
But he has all the other powers. He has the one with he takes his glasses off. He's got the vision, and he has, because at least the character in the X-Men Origins Wolverine, he had like he had 3 or 4 of their different powers all in the one character.
Yeah. So but I think the thing that they're going to capitalize here is exactly why Ryan Reynolds was cast as the lead role. He's going to be snarky. He's going to be sarcastic. He's going to be funny. It's going to be kind of like Wolverine, X-Men Wolverine.
He could teleport.
But it's going to be more slapstick and funny.
He could teleport too, as I recall, too, in that character.
I'm not sure if you can do that in this one, but
you remember he could teleport in that episode of X-Men Origins. He was able to teleport. He had a lot of the.
I think in that iteration, because of his regenerative powers, they experimented a lot on him to give him new powers.
Right. Exactly.
So and because this is going to be essentially the same timeline as Days of Future Past, sorry for anyone who hasn't seen it, spoiler alert, all the stuff that happened in X-Men Origins Wolverine doesn't matter because it's Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Keep an eye out. It has yet to receive a rating, so unfortunately, probably it's going to get a PG-13, even though because Deadpool, if you've read any of the comics, it's more of a rated R kind of thing, because there is cursing and there is like a lot of violence. But just because the way Fox is, they're probably going to make it PG-13. So
okay.
Keep an eye out for Deadpool. Starting to film soon.
Okay. Now, if you've been saving up your Club Nintendo coin stars and thinking that they'll be the new standard currency after the inevitable collapse of the world economy, we have some bad news for you. According to Games Radar, Club Nintendo will shut down later this year. That's right. Nintendo's shutting the whole thing down later this year. on Club Nintendo. I mean, not the world economy, of course. This is according to the story from Games Radar. Both Nintendo of America and Nintendo of Europe announced today that they will soon dismantle their respective incarnations of the loyalty program. For more than 6 years, Club Nintendo has rewarded fans for registering products and filling out surveys with a shifting lineup of physical and downloadable goodies. Everything from virtual console download codes to a limited edition Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon figurine. Nintendo says it wants to focus on an all-new customer loyalty program, which it plans to launch later this year in Europe. As such, no new Nintendo games released from January 20th in North America or April 1st onward in Europe will be eligible for registration on Club Nintendo. Now, you have until the 31st of March in the U.S. or April 20th in Europe to make a new profile or earn coins from filling out surveys and registering products. And lastly, you have until June the 30th in America or September 30th in Europe to grab any rewards. Their services will be taken offline for good by the next day. Nintendo says it will keep adding more downloadable games and reward items to the catalog over the coming months so users can burn off the remaining currency. Evidently, this currency is not going to be transferable to the new system. One last regional difference, Nintendo of America says all current Club Nintendo members will receive a download code for Flipnote Studio 3D in February as thanks for using the service, while Nintendo of Europe says it will give out codes to users who sign up for the new loyalty program within its launch period. Go figure. But there it is.
And I know it may not seem like a lot, but people are obsessed with Nintendo. I guess people have just been playing Nintendo for so long. They've enjoyed Mario. They've enjoyed all the games that have been around for so long. I believe Donkey Kong is also in Nintendo. I mean, people like it. So this is a long-running tradition, and it's going away.
Yeah. Well, there it is.
Yep.
Okay.
So the next story is something different. Actually, PlayStation exclusive TV show Powers debuts in March. You heard that right. PlayStation exclusive TV show. So the PlayStation exclusive original series Powers will debut on March 10th. The PlayStation blog has announced the series will span 10 episodes, with the first episode available for free to all PlayStation Network account holders. PlayStation Plus subscribers will have access to the complete season, based on the ongoing Image Comics series from the writer Brian Michael Bendis, Ultimate Spider-Man, and artist Michael Avon Oeming, or Judge Dredd. Love that movie. That was a good movie. Powers is a police procedural set in Chicago where two homicide detectives investigate cases involving citizens with superhuman abilities. Hence, Powers. The series stars District 9 standout Sharlto Copley as Christian Walker, a former superhero who becomes a detective after he loses his powers, and his partner Dina Pilgrim, played by the following Susan Hayward. Eddie Izzard portrays the villainous character Wolf. Watch a trailer for the series after the break. They have that trailer, here on the website. You can of course go look it up. Powers PlayStation original. But this is the first. This is the first time a TV show. Sure, Netflix has some, even though they're a content provider and producer. But this is the first time a console has had a television exclusive.
Sharita Copley, the actor himself. He
is it Sharito or Sharlto?
Sharlto Copley. Yeah,
that's it.
The actor. He played in the A-Team. Was the crazy guy.
Oh, that was him.
That was him. Yeah, he's
okay.
He's from South Africa, which is why he could speak the language in that movie.
Yeah.
But he played a lot of different types of roles. He's a very versatile actor. He actually He played in the one with Matt Damon.
Let's see, he was in Elysium, the A-Team,
Yeah, Elysium. He played a bad guy in Elysium. I mean, he's really,
Maleficent.
yeah. He's a very good actor, and evidently he's going to be this character, Christian Walker. A former superhero becomes a detective after he loses his powers. How does he lose his powers? Do we know?
I guess we're gonna have to watch the either watch the trailer or watch the series.
Yeah.
But again, it's a PlayStation exclusive, so unless you have PlayStation Network and and of course that's just for the first episode. If you are PlayStation Plus, then you can watch the whole series.
Now,
So it's a little bit of incentive.
so you can't watch this anywhere else. It won't be on Netflix. It won't be in the movie theaters. It won't be anywhere like that.
I mean, we could talk about illegal things.
Oh no, but I'm saying legitimate.
But legitimately, it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive, not Xbox, not Netflix, not Hulu, none of that. PlayStation only.
10 episodes.
10 episodes, and honestly, the premise. I mean, it sounds. I don't want to say played out. Like I've heard it before. Superpowers, superhumans, police detectives, but yeah, it still sounds intriguing. So it sounds like it could be good.
Well, I find it intriguing that he's a superhero that loses his powers. He's a and I find that kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever really seen it. That's a different angle. Usually it's a guy who gets superpowers. He's an average guy and he's
mentalist or what have you. It's
superpowered, and he's saying here that this doesn't happen. I mean, he loses his whatever abilities that he has. So it looks interesting.
And of course, there's probably going to be that bent throughout the series. It's like, how did I lose my powers? And then there's going to be someone. It's like, hey, you want to get your powers back, or here's the guy who took them, or there's probably something like that. But it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, no, it sounds very intriguing.
Too bad for us, we won't be able to watch it.
Why?
Do you have a PlayStation Network pass?
No, I don't. Okay.
Then you can't watch it.
Okay.
PlayStation exclusive. It's the first time a console has gotten an exclusive TV deal.
All right. Okay.
Yep.
I grew up with flight simulators, a whole bunch of flight simulators. I never heard of a ship simulator, but evidently there is. And according to PC Gamer, a European ship simulator setting sail on the 20th of February. He says, I see the appeal of Euro Truck Simulator 2, but for me, there's something far more exciting about the prospect of being out on the water, fiddling with levers and dials in some manner of ship. Some manner of ships featured in the, of course, prosaically named European Ship Simulator, which has just been given a release date of the 20th of February. Control a giant hulking ferry, or a tiny fishing boat, or a speedboat, or several other ships in between. Take on missions, battle the elements, or simply lark about pretending you're Robert Shaw in Jaws. He says he'll be doing the last one. But this is a ship simulator. Wow.
You have not been there, I guess, since simulations have really taken off.
Yeah, I never I was not really hugely interested in flight simulators. To me, but I guess simulators for everything. Yeah.
There's a simulator called Tractor, or a farm simulator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Technically, it's just Tractor Simulator. And you drive a tractor. All of the add-ons, when you purchase them, because there's downloadable content and things like that, if you bought this one game, Tractor Simulator, with all the DLC, it would be $1,500.
Yeah.
Just for the one game. With all the tractors.
Oh my gosh.
And my favorite, though, I think the internet's in general's favorite. There was a simulation game that came out a little while ago. It was called Goat Simulator, where you simulate being a goat.
A goat. I guess they're simulators for everything.
They have simulators for everything. Although Goat Simulator, it was kind of it was sandbox-esque. So you go around and you find yourself trapped in a house, and then you have to figure out how to use a computer as a goat. You have to figure out how to open a door as a goat. You have to figure out how to eat grass as a goat. You have to figure out how to blow up the local gas station as a goat. It was very entertaining, but there are simulators for everything.
All right. Well, this was a ship simulator.
Yeah, which is different. I mean, Europeans love their simulators more than anyone else.
I think so.
For some reason, over in Europe, simulations are amazing.
Yeah. Well, go figure. Well, I'll tell you what. I think we're pretty much out of time here for tonight. But this was a lot of fun, and having a second Gamer Tuesday. And again, I want to thank our guests from MyDream in the first hour. And of course, you can listen to any of our archive shows at ComputerAmerica.com. Just go to our archives page and check everything out. You can listen to the audio archives on iTunes. We archive it there. We have an RSS feed. We have on Blog Talk Radio. We have our own YouTube channel for the videos. We even have a photo bucket with pictures. And of course, our show notes are there. It's another way of accessing show notes at ComputerAmerica.com. But it was a good program. I enjoyed it.
Really, what I think the second Gamer Tuesday should really become, and this is just a confidential between us and Computer America, no one else should listen to this, is we should probably have Grayson Hamilton, because he does provide a lot of great insight, and him just being in journalism, he can kind of do what we just did, but to a much greater extent. And then in the second Gamer Tuesdays, we should probably have on game developers, game studios, things that are more hands-on with games.
Yep.
So that's what I'm hoping Gamer Tuesday will become. So look forward to that if that's your cup of tea.
Yes, it is. All right, now coming up tomorrow, of course, in the first hour, we're going to have Intel on the show with us. Intel, it's our monthly Intel sponsor hour, and they're going to be joining us on the third Wednesday of the month. And then in hour two, we're going to have computer and technology news, more of computer and technology news brought to you by Slimmer Utilities,
60 seconds.
the official optimization software of Computer America. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight. It was a pleasure having you here, and we will see you tomorrow night. The same bad time, same bad channel.
I knew you were going to say that.
I know. I'm becoming too predictable. I need to mix.
You are.
Yeah. But check out all the stuff at ComputerAmerica.com. Check out our free software page. Check out our top tech awards. Explore the website. We got all kinds of great things at ComputerAmerica.com. We don't always get the chance to talk to you about them, but they're there, and they're for your viewing pleasure. And we certainly invite you to check them out. So we'll see you tomorrow night. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night, everyone.
Seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, everybody. Again, thanks for watching us here on our live video streaming page, and Ben and I will see you tomorrow night with Intel. Have a good evening. Good night.
Everyone.
Good night.